Welcome to our channel HD Rare Coin 111, your go-to spot for uncovering the incredible world of rare US coins. If you've ever wondered if your old pennies, nickels, or dimes are worth more than face value, you're about to find out. In today's video, we'll be exploring some truly rare coins and their shocking values. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump in. Top 1. Today, we're diving into one such incredible story, an American coin that has stunned collectors and experts alike. This is the story of the 1964 Jefferson nickel. And by the time we're done, you might just be checking your own change for a hidden jackpot. Let's begin with a bit of background. The Jefferson nickel has been a part of American coinage since 1938, when it replaced the iconic Buffalo nickel. Designed by artist Felix Schlag, this 5-cent coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front, with his famous Virginia home, Monticello, displayed on the reverse side. For decades, it's been one of the most common coins in circulation, passed from hand to hand across generations. At a glance, there's nothing particularly special about it. Millions, even billions, have been produced over the years. So how can one specific year, 1964, hold such importance in the coin collecting world? The answer lies in a perfect storm of history, economics, and minting anomalies. In 1964, the United States Mint was under pressure. The country was experiencing a coin shortage due to the rising price of silver, and people were beginning to hoard coins out of fear that they would soon become more valuable for their metal content than their face value. As a result, the U.S. government took action. To help ease the shortage, the Mint produced an unprecedented number of nickels in 1964, over 2.5 billion of them between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But quantity didn't always mean quality. During this mass production frenzy, mistakes were made. Dies, those are the tools used to stamp the coin's design, were used longer than usual, leading to errors, purse strikes, and inconsistencies. Some coins were misaligned. Others showed doubling of the letters or numbers. And then, among the sea of regular coins, there were a few, extremely rare ones. Coins that somehow managed to come out with crisp, sharp details. Coins that showed every single step of Monticello in clear, perfect condition, a feature known to collectors as full steps. These are the coins that are worth taking a second look at, but it's not just about the steps. It's about condition. A 1964 Jefferson nickel with no wear, no scratches, no blemishes, graded as nearly perfect by experts, becomes a rarity among rarities. When you combine that perfect condition with the full steps feature, and then add in specific minting errors like doubling or repunched mint marks, you're looking at something that transcends the ordinary. Suddenly, that simple coin in your hand isn't worth 5 cents. It could be worth thousands. In fact, one specific 1964 Jefferson nickel recently turned heads in the coin collecting world. It wasn't covered in dirt or worn from years of use. It was crisp, clear, and remarkably well preserved. Graded at an exceptionally high level by professional coin grading services, and showing the sought-after full steps, this coin became the star of an auction. Bidders from across the country competed to add it to their collection. And when the final hammer dropped, the price paid was nothing short of extraordinary. Are you ready to hear what that little coin, that 5-cent piece most people wouldn't even bother to look at, was sold for? That 1964 Jefferson nickel, yes, just a regular nickel in the eyes of many, was valued and sold for an astonishing $95,000. Let that sink in for a moment. $95,000. For a nickel. This is why collectors obsess over coins. This is why people dig through boxes of old change, search estate sales, and examine every coin they come across. Because hidden among the ordinary, there are treasures. Because history has a way of hiding value in plain sight. And because stories like this one remind us that sometimes, the smallest things can have the biggest impact. So, the next time you find a nickel in your car, or hear the jingle of change in your pocket, don't be so quick to dismiss it. Take a closer look. Check the date. Examine the condition. You never know, you might be holding something truly incredible. And who knows? That tiny, forgotten coin just might change your life. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more amazing tales of rare coins, hidden treasures, and valuable finds, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. We've got plenty more stories that will leave you stunned and inspired. Until next time, keep your eyes open, because treasure is everywhere. Top 2. We're diving deep into one such story. One coin. 1 year. One jaw-dropping surprise. This is the story of the 1990 Jefferson nickel, and how a seemingly ordinary piece of American currency could secretly be worth more than most people make in an entire year. Let's go back for a moment. The Jefferson nickel is one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history. First introduced in 1938, it replaced the legendary Buffalo nickel and has featured the familiar face of Thomas Jefferson ever since. For decades, it's been passed from person to person in pockets, purses, cash registers, and piggy banks. On the obverse side, you'll see Jefferson himself, in profile, looking determined, thoughtful, and full of that American resolve. On the reverse side, his stately home, Monticello, carved into the coin like a window into the past. Now, by the time we hit the year 1990, the Jefferson nickel was already over 50 years into its legacy. Most people didn't think twice about it. After all, 1990 wasn't exactly ancient history. These weren't old Civil War era coins. These were coins from the modern era. You probably used them to pay for lunch at school or buy a soda at the corner store. But not every 1990 nickel is created equal. Here's where it gets interesting. Most 1990 nickels are exactly what they seem, regular coins worth 5 cents. But in the world of coin collecting, a handful of these coins are anything but regular. In fact, some of them are incredibly rare and valuable. Why? Because during the minting process at the United States Mint, particularly in high production years like 1990, mistakes can happen. And sometimes, those mistakes go unnoticed. Sometimes, they slip through quality control. And sometimes, those rare errors become worth their weight in gold to collectors. Let's talk about a few things that can make a 1990 Jefferson nickel stand out. First off, condition matters a lot. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a coin in perfect mint state, untouched, flawless even under magnification. A 1990 Jefferson nickel that somehow escaped circulation and remained in pristine, unhandled condition for over 30 years is already a rare find. Combine that with a rare error or variety, and you're looking at something truly special. One of the most sought-after features in a Jefferson nickel is what's known as the full steps variety. On the reverse side of the coin, just beneath the Monticello building, are a series of small steps. On most nickels, especially those from high production years like 1990, the steps appear blurry or partially worn. But occasionally, a coin is struck so perfectly that all the steps are fully visible, sharply defined, crisp, and complete. This full steps detail is a sign of a strong, clean strike and is a major point of interest for serious collectors. But full steps alone aren't the only thing that make the 1990 nickel valuable. Some coins from this year also exhibit doubling, what experts call a double die. This happens when the coin's design is imprinted more than once, slightly off alignment. It can result in ghost-like doubling in the words, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," or even in the date itself. These errors can't be faked, and when they're genuine, they can skyrocket a coin's value. Other error types include off-center strikes, where the design is visibly misaligned, giving the coin an odd and eye-catching look. Then there are broad strikes, where the coin is struck outside of the collar, making it appear wider and flatter than normal. And in very rare cases, there are coins struck on the wrong metal planchets, meaning they were accidentally minted on a blank intended for another denomination, like a dime. Now imagine finding a 1990 nickel that has multiple of these features. Full steps, a rare error, and near-perfect condition. It's not just a coin anymore, it's a hidden treasure. And here's where the real excitement begins. Every now and then, one of these coins surfaces. It could come from a dusty jar on a bookshelf, a forgotten coin collection from your grandparents, or a thrift store coin bag that nobody bothered to look through. Someone finds it. They take a closer look. They notice the sharp details. They see the full steps. Maybe they spot something odd in the design, doubling, maybe a minting anomaly. They decide to get it professionally graded. It's sent off to PCGS or NGC, and weeks later the verdict comes back, mint state. Rare error. Full steps. And suddenly, what was once a forgotten 5-cent coin becomes a headliner at auction. Bidding wars begin. Collectors across the country compete to own a piece of modern American coinage history. Phones ring. Emails fly. And then the gavel falls. The final price? That simple, unassuming 1990 Jefferson nickel, once worth 5 cents, sells for an incredible $65,000. Let that sink in for a moment. $65,000. For a coin minted in 1990. A coin that might be hiding right now in a drawer, a coin jar, or even your wallet. That's the magic of numismatics. The thrill of the hunt, the mystery in the mundane, the excitement of finding extraordinary value in something the world has overlooked. It's a world where the past lives in your pocket, and history might be just a fingertip away. So the next time you come across a nickel, don't be so quick to dismiss it. Flip it over. Check the year. Look closely at the details. Because buried within those common coins are stories untold, and maybe, just maybe, your own hidden fortune. If you enjoyed this journey into the fascinating world of coin collecting, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. We're uncovering rare coins, big finds, and unbelievable values every week. Who knows? The next great discovery might just come from you. Top 3. We're exploring a coin that most people have seen, spent, or dropped between couch cushions without a second glance. The 2004 Jefferson nickel. A 5-cent piece that, to the untrained eye, looks completely ordinary. But there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Because within a sea of millions of 2004 nickels, there's a rare version so valuable, so unique, that collectors will pay a small fortune to call it their own. You're about to find out why this nickel from just 2 decades ago could be one of the most unexpected hidden gems in American coinage. And if you stick with me until the end, you'll discover the kind of money that could change how you look at the spare change in your pocket forever. Let's rewind for a moment. The year was 2004, and the US Mint was about to make history. This was no ordinary year for the Jefferson nickel. In fact, it was the beginning of something the Mint called the Westward Journey series, a tribute to the Lewis and Clark expedition and the westward expansion of the United States. 4 decades before that, the design of the nickel had remained largely unchanged. But in 2004, everything shifted. The Mint released 2 new reverse designs, one featuring the piece metal, and the other showing a keelboat, similar to the one used by the Lewis and Clark team. These designs were different, artistic, and meant to reflect America's journey through the early 1800s. The obverse still had Jefferson's familiar profile, but things were already starting to evolve. Now here's where it gets exciting. In the midst of this transition and artistic experimentation, the Mint struck millions upon millions of these 2004 nickels. But as always happens when new designs and dies are introduced, a few mistakes slip through the cracks. And in the coin collecting world, mistakes can mean money. A lot of it. So what should you look for in a 2004 Jefferson nickel? Let's start with the basics. There are 2 primary reverse designs in circulation from that year. The first is the piece metal nickel, which features 2 hands shaking, one with a Native American sleeve, the other in a military uniform, symbolizing peace and diplomacy. The second is the keelboat nickel, which shows the vessel that carried Lewis and Clark up the Missouri River, complete with billowing sails and tiny figures aboard. Both are beautiful, historical designs. But within these designs are subtle variations that turn these coins from common to collectible. One of the most valuable features to watch for is known as a double die. This is when the die used to stamp the coin shifts slightly during production, creating a doubled image. On some 2004 nickels, you can see this doubling on the words United States of America, 5 cents, or even the date and mint mark. This isn't something you'll spot right away unless you're looking closely. But once you see it, those slightly shadowed, doubled letters, it becomes unmistakable. Another rare variation is an off-center strike. These are coins that weren't stamped directly in the center, causing the design to appear lopsided or incomplete. While that might sound like a defect, it's actually a highly desirable error among collectors, especially when it's dramatic and the coin is still in good condition. And then there's the full steps variety. Yes, even in 2004, this detail still matters. On the Monticello building in the traditional design, the steps must be fully visible and unbroken. Although Monticello isn't on the 2004 reverses, there are collectors who pay premium prices for perfect details, sharp strikes, and uncirculated finishes. In other words, if the coin is flawless and error-free, or especially if it has errors, it could be worth far more than just 5 cents. What adds to the mystery and magic of the 2004 nickel is its accessibility. This isn't some ancient coin buried in a museum or locked away in a collector's vault. This is modern money. It's still out there. You could find it in a roll from the bank, in change from the grocery store, or in a pile of coins sitting in your kitchen drawer. And because so many of these coins are still floating around, people are constantly searching for that rare version that slipped through unnoticed. Let me paint a picture for you. Someone's going through an old jar of coins they inherited from a relative. Nothing fancy. Just a mix of quarters, dimes, and nickels. They start sorting through them, casually flipping each coin, not expecting anything at all. Then they see it, a 2004 nickel. It looks a little sharper than the others. They pull out a magnifier and examine the details. The design is bold. The strike is crisp. But something else catches their eye. The letters look off. A little thicker. A little shadowed. Could it be? They send it off to be graded, and the results, mint state. Double die. Rare strike. One of the finest known examples in existence. Collectors start calling. Offers start coming in. The nickel that once sat forgotten in a dusty container is suddenly the hottest topic in coin auctions. And then, a final bid comes in. The price offered for that small, 5-cent piece? A staggering $35,000. Yes, you heard that right. $35,000 for a single 2004 Jefferson nickel. It's stories like these that keep collectors searching, and dreamers dreaming. Because the truth is, you never really know what kind of value could be hiding in plain sight. Coins that pass through your fingers every day might be worth more than you ever imagined. So the next time you see a nickel, don't just drop it in a tip jar or toss it in your car's cup holder. Take a closer look. Examine the date. Check for oddities. You might just stumble upon your own small fortune. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell, because there are hundreds of coins like this one with stories waiting to be told. And who knows? The next big find could be sitting in your pocket right now. Top 4. Imagine reaching into your pocket, fishing out a handful of coins, and spotting a nickel from 2006. You roll it between your fingers without much thought, maybe preparing to drop it into a vending machine or tip jar. After all, it's just 5 cents, right? But what if I told you that this small, seemingly insignificant piece of change could actually be a key to unlocking thousands of dollars? What if that little coin, sitting quietly in your palm, could be worth more than some people's entire savings account? It might sound unbelievable, but today, you're going to discover how one specific version of the 2006 Jefferson nickel has taken the coin collecting world by storm, and why you should never overlook even the most modern-looking coins again. Because sometimes, value hides in plain sight. And this coin? It's the definition of a hidden gem. Let's rewind and talk about what makes the Jefferson nickel so iconic in the first place. Introduced back in 1938, this nickel replaced the famous Buffalo nickel and brought a fresh new design featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, with his home, Monticello, on the reverse. Over time, this coin has become one of the longest-running and most widely circulated in American history. But in the early 2000s, something big happened. The United States Mint launched the Westward Journey Nickel Series, a major redesign effort celebrating the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition. This marked a new era in nickel design. By 2006, the series came to a close with the final coin in the journey, The Return to Monticello. But this wasn't just a reprint of the old design. The 2006 Jefferson nickel featured a completely redesigned portrait of Thomas Jefferson, this time a forward-facing view, a more lifelike, detailed version, capturing the personality and realism of the man behind the Declaration of Independence. The reverse brought back Monticello, but with enhanced detail and a modern touch. It was the perfect blend of tradition and innovation. Millions of these 2006 nickels were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. To the average person, they all looked pretty much the same. But here's where things get interesting. As always with coin production, not all nickels were struck equally. And in a year of transition and change, a few rare and unexpected minting errors made their way into circulation, errors that turned an ordinary 5-cent piece into an incredibly valuable collector's item. So what should you be looking for in a 2006 Jefferson nickel? First off, the most obvious feature to check is the mint mark, the little P or D. That tells you whether the coin came from Philadelphia or Denver. Some rare errors involve missing mint marks or misplaced ones, an anomaly that can skyrocket a coin's value when verified. But it gets better. One of the most sought-after versions of the 2006 nickel is a coin struck with a doubled die. This is a minting error that happens when the coin die strikes the metal planchet more than once, but slightly misaligned. The result? You get doubling on the lettering, numbers, or even Jefferson's face. On some 2006 nickels, the doubling is visible in the word Liberty, Jefferson's eye, or the edges of Monticello on the reverse. It's subtle, but once you see it, you'll know you've found something special. Another rare feature that turns heads is the full steps variety. On the reverse of the coin, Monticello has a staircase. On most coins, those steps are worn down or poorly struck, but on a true full steps nickel, every line is sharp and visible. Collectors pay big premiums for coins that show these steps in full detail because they indicate a flawless, crisp strike, and flawless coins are a hot commodity. But wait, there's more. Some 2006 Jefferson nickels have been found with off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned and the edge of the coin is blank. Others have been discovered with clipped planchets, meaning part of the coin is literally missing due to an error during the cutting process. These kinds of physical oddities might look like damage at first glance, but to collectors, they're gold mines, especially when they happen on newer coins like the 2006 nickel. And here's the real kicker: condition is everything. A 2006 nickel with one of these rare errors won't be worth much if it's scratched up or heavily circulated. But if it's in pristine condition, what experts call mint state or even proof, then it becomes a serious player in the collecting world. That means no dings, no wear, no smudges. Just a clean, crisp, perfectly preserved coin. Now, imagine someone finding one of these rare 2006 Jefferson nickels in a roll of coins from the bank. They weren't even looking for treasure, just sorting through coins, maybe out of boredom or curiosity. And there it was, a flawless coin, a rare die error, and an immaculate strike. They send it off for grading. It comes back with an ultra-high grade, verifying its authenticity and confirming it's one of only a few known in that condition. The coin is placed in an auction. Collectors from around the world start bidding. Emails go out. Phone lines light up. People are eager to get their hands on one of the rarest modern nickels ever discovered. And finally, after a flurry of offers, the hammer falls. That tiny, everyday 5-cent piece, a 2006 Jefferson nickel, sells for a life-changing total of $27,000. Let that sink in. $27,000. For a nickel that you or I could have easily overlooked in everyday change, this isn't just a fluke. This is the exciting, often unpredictable world of coin collecting. A world where history, art, craftsmanship, and chance all collide in the palm of your hand. And it's why coin hunters all over the country are searching through boxes, jars, and rolls, looking for that one special find. So the next time you find yourself with a nickel in your hand, don't be so quick to spend it. Look at the year. Examine the details. Check for the signs. Because even in our modern era, treasures still exist. And sometimes, they're just 5 cents away. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and tap the notification bell so you never miss out on the next great coin discovery. We've got plenty more stories coming about rare finds, unexpected fortunes, and the incredible value hiding in plain sight. Top 5. You've probably held hundreds, maybe even thousands of nickels in your life. They slide across counters, disappear into car cup holders, or jingle in our pockets as we go about our day. Most of the time, we don't even look at them twice. But what if I told you that one of those ordinary nickels, specifically a 2019 Jefferson nickel, could be worth a small fortune? It's true. And today, we're going to uncover the incredible story behind one of the most surprising coin discoveries of recent years. A story that proves that even the newest coins, even those minted just a few years ago, can hold incredible value if you know what to look for. Let's begin with the basics. The Jefferson nickel has been a part of American life since 1938. Over the years, it has evolved, changed, and adapted to reflect different eras of U.S. history. But one thing has remained constant: it's one of the most collected and studied coins in modern American currency. And in 2019, something interesting happened that made collectors around the country start looking at their nickels with fresh eyes. The 2019 Jefferson nickel featured the updated design introduced in 2006, showing a forward-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, bold, detailed, and much more lifelike than the traditional side profile version. On the reverse side, Monticello still stands, Jefferson's stately Virginia home, complete with its dome and classical pillars. Millions of these nickels were minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Most went into circulation, into wallets and registers across the country. But a small number, just a tiny fraction, were different. These rare coins weren't just spare change. They were the result of striking errors, die variations, and minting quirks that turned them into unexpected treasures. So how does an ordinary 2019 nickel become an extraordinary one? Let's talk about what sets these rare coins apart. Point 1. Of the most valuable types of mint errors that can be found in 2019 Jefferson nickels is what's known as a double die. This occurs when the die, the metal piece that stamps the design onto the coin, imprints the image twice, slightly off from the original position. It sounds like a small error, but the result can be dramatic. Letters and numbers appear doubled, giving the coin a strange, ghostly appearance. On a 2019 nickel, doubling may be seen in the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," or even in the date and mint mark. Next, we have off-center strikes, another incredible error that happens when the coin isn't struck directly in the center of the planchet. These coins have part of the design missing, with a blank crescent of metal on one side. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date is still visible. Then there's a collector favorite, the full steps variety. On the reverse of the nickel, at the base of Monticello, you'll see a staircase. Most nickels don't show these steps clearly. They might be faint, worn, or completely smooth due to weak striking. But in rare cases, the coin is struck so sharply and cleanly that every single step is visible, unbroken and perfectly defined. That's what collectors call full steps, and they're willing to pay a premium for it, especially on newer coins where high-quality examples are still uncommon. Another valuable error to watch for on 2019 nickels is the clipped planchet. This means the metal disc used to make the coin was improperly cut, resulting in a curved clip or a bite-like chunk missing from the edge. These kinds of errors are easy to overlook but can be worth serious money when authenticated. What makes the 2019 Jefferson nickel so fascinating is that it's modern. It's not an old, dusty relic from the past. It's a coin that could still be in your change today. It could be sitting in a drawer, hiding in a coin roll, or forgotten in a backpack zipper pocket. And because 2019 was a high-production year, very few people are even looking for rare varieties, making discoveries even more exciting. But there's something else that determines a coin's value, perhaps more important than the error itself, and that's condition. In the world of coin grading, a coin's condition is rated on a scale from 1 to 70. A grade of 70 represents perfection, a coin that looks like it just left the mint, untouched by human hands. The better the condition, the higher the value. Combine that with a rare error or a sharp full-step strike, and you're looking at a coin that's not just collectible, it's rare. Now imagine this. Someone picks up a few rolls of nickels from their local bank, just for fun. Maybe they're a hobbyist. Maybe they're just curious. They sit down, pour the coins out onto a table, and start inspecting them one by one. At first, it's just ordinary coins. Then they spot something different. A 2019 nickel. The letters look slightly unusual. The design is unusually crisp. The steps on Monticello? Flawless. Not just 4 or 5 lines, all of them. They send the coin off to be graded. The results come back. Double die. Full steps. Mint state 67. And suddenly, this isn't just a nickel anymore. This is a piece of modern treasure. Word gets out. Collectors take interest. An auction house steps in. The coin is authenticated, verified, and prepared for bidding. And when the final hammer drops, the result stuns everyone watching. That 5-cent piece, minted just a few years ago in 2019, sells for an incredible total of $16,000. Yes. You've heard that right, $16,000. For a nickel dot, that's the magic of coin collecting. A world where history, rarity, condition, and luck all come together in the palm of your hand. And the best part? These coins are still out there. You could find one tomorrow. All it takes is a sharp eye, a little patience, and the willingness to look closer at the things most people overlook. So the next time you're counting your change or sorting through a roll of coins, take a second look at those nickels. Especially the ones from 2019. Because somewhere in the mix, one of those little coins might just hold a story, and a price tag you'll never forget. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on the next incredible coin discovery. Who knows? The next rare coin might already be in your pocket. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting!